It's perfectly natural for humans to want to surround themselves with greenery. And if you use houseplants to do that within the environment that you live or work, I'm going to show you some super easy plants to look after. If you're worried about killing them, overwatering them, underwatering them, watering them while you're away on holiday, all that kind of stress that houseplants sometimes can bring, I'm going to show you 4 of the most easy to look after houseplants that's possible, and one that you'll never have to water again. So I'll start off with a regular houseplant. This is aloe vera, super useful in case you burn yourself or something like that, and it's a great plant to have around. But it's very, very easy to look after. You just need to water it once a week, just lightly, and that's all the maintenance it requires. If that is a little bit too complicated for you, what about this? It's a tillandsia. You don't even need any soil. This is an air plant, and it will happily just live on a table, hung up in a bathroom, somewhere humid like that. It just needs dunking in a bucket of water or a bowl of water once a week. Turn it upside down to let it drain, and then you can replace it in the same or a different part of the house. How much easier than that can it be? If that is still a little bit too complicated, then what about this? This is moss. Now, a few months ago, it looked like this, a tiny piece of moss that fell off the roof of the house. And I cultivated it inside. Now, I've really struggled to grow moss because I don't live in a house which is old and humid. I live in a new build, so the moss just wouldn't grow, it forever died. So what I did is this, placed the moss on a plate, watered it lightly, and then over the top place a bell cloche. I love bell cloches, I think it's an unhealthy obsession of mine. But place it in there, and the humidity in there, the water will recycle itself around, so you'll never have to water it. I've probably watered it kind of once in the summer when it was really, really dry. It sometimes gets condensation on the inside, that's perfectly normal. That condensation will run down, but if watering once a year or twice a year is still too much effort, then I'm going to show you a plant that you will only ever have to water once. Okay, so I've got myself a food jar here, and this is sealable. It seals right up so the water in there will never evaporate. And I'm going to fill it up with some coarse gravel in the base, and then a little bit of finer gravel. Do make sure that it is a dwarf fern that you buy. A lot of ferns in garden centres that are sold in these tots, they're called, small pots, they're not actually that small. I would suggest using a compost scoop to pour the gravel around the plant. If you can tip it down the side of the glass, it will then just bury the sides of the plant. If you can get one that's large enough to get your finger in there, just level that gravel off, shake it about a bit, put a small amount of water in there and seal it up. And that's all there is to it. It couldn't be easier than that. You've got this beautiful graded gravel, you've got a lovely little plant inside, and you won't have to water him ever again. Don't put it in full sun because it won't really be that happy. You want to find a nice shady location or somewhere that's out of direct sunlight. It won't be affected by the drafts, it won't be affected by the heat, and it will be perfectly happy growing in that micro environment. So there you have it, 4 plants that are so easy to grow, and I hope that you will join me in greening up your home. Until next time, bye bye.